Hello guys, today we're gonna learn about lung with me, Nadira, Aina, Nurin, Andrew, Haziq and Sanim. So, what is a lung? A lung is one of the major organs of the human body. It functions to carry out gases exchange, and the lung naturally carry out its function autonomously without needing any nerve impulse to signal it. So, where is the lung located in our body? The lung is located on the left and right of our chest and are enclosed and protected by the ribs. So, what is the importance of our lungs? The lungs allow us to breathe. It also allows us to talk and to smell. It warms the air to match our body temperature and moisturize it to the humidity level of our body needs. It also delivers oxygen to the cell in our body, remove waste gas, and also protect our airways from harmful substances and irritants. The lungs are also connected to other respiratory structures which help facilitate the whole process of respiration, such as our nose, diaphragm, and trachea. So next, we are going to learn about the structure of our respiratory system. The respiratory system is divided into two, which are the upper part and the lower part of the respiratory tract. The upper part of respiratory tract consists of conducting zone, which is based on nose, nasal cavity, and pharynx. While for the lower part of the respiratory tract, which is based on conducting and respiratory zone, it is based on larynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, and alveoli.
Next, the structure of lungs. Each lung is enclosed by double-layered pleural membrane which divides into two. Firstly is parietal pleura, which is the lungs wall of thoracic cavity, and the second one is visceral pleura, which cover lungs themselves. Pleural cavity is the space between layers. There are pleural fluid, which reduces friction and produces tension to stick together. Next one is the nose. The nose will be divided into two types, which are external nose and internal nose. External nose consists of the visible structure of the nose, while internal nose consists of bones, apertures, channels, and regions. For nasal cavity, or we call it as internal nose, it is divided into two regions, which are respiratory region and olfactory region. The respiratory region has numerous goblet cells and glands that secrete mucus to help destroy bacteria. The olfactory region is lined with olfactory epithelium. For pharynx, it is located in the throat. It carries air to the respiratory system and delivers food and liquid to the digestive system. It also helps to equalize pressure in the ears and drains fluid from the ears. The larynx is a short passageway that connects the laryngopharynx with the trachea. Glottis is also included as true vocal cords containing skeletal muscles, or is well known as vocalis muscles. The trachea is called as windpipe that has C-shaped pieces of hyaline cartilage. The function of trachea is to carry air in and out of your lungs. Next one is the bronchus. The bronchus is a broad tube that join to the trachea. Its function is to send air to the left and right lungs. After that, we go down to the bronchiole. The bronchiole is a small sac that facilitates the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The bronchioles are located at the end of the bronchus and are estimated to be 30,000 of each lung. The next one, we have alveoli. Alveoli is a tiny air sacs at the end of the bronchioles. While breathing in and out, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged between the blood and alveoli in the lungs. When oxygen is inhaled from the air, it gets to the body's tissue via the alveoli, blood, and tissues throughout the body. The body's tissues release carbon dioxide into the blood, which then passes via the alveoli and is exhaled. By the way, it is estimated that there are 480 million alveoli in the lung. The small round alveoli allow for an amazingly large surface area for this gas exchange to take place. The blood capillaries must be in contact with the respiratory surface to exchange the gas. Therefore, the greater the surface area, the more gas exchange can occur. And lastly, a fun fact about us, human. The total respiratory surface of human lungs is about 100 meter per square, which equal to the surface area of a racquetball court.
Gases exchange occurs during respiration. During gas exchange, oxygen moves from the lungs into the bloodstream. At the same time, carbon dioxide passes from the blood to the lungs. This happens in the lungs between the alveoli and a network of tiny blood vessels called capillaries, which are located in the walls of the alveoli. Gases move by simple diffusion according to pressure gradient from high to low.
Now we will talk about the mechanisms of the lungs. During inhalation, internal intercostal muscles will relax, the ribs will move outwards and upwards, and the diaphragm will flatten. This causes lung volume and alveolar volume to expand. Air pressure inside the lungs, intrapleural pressure, alveolar pressure, and intrapulmonary pressure will decrease. What are the effects? All these will cause air pressure in the lungs to drop below the air pressure of the atmosphere. Pressure law states that a region of high pressure will move to a region of lower pressure. Therefore, air will rush into the lungs. In exhalation, however, external intercostal muscles will relax, ribs will fall, and the diaphragm will curve into the bell shape. This causes lung volume and alveolar volume to shrink. Air pressure inside the lungs, intrapleural pressure, alveolar pressure, and intrapulmonary pressure will increase. What are the effects? These will cause air pressure in lungs to increase above the air pressure of the atmosphere, causing the air in the lungs to be forced out, according to pressure gradient. Next, we will talk about lung volume and capacity spirometer graph. There are 8 main values in the lung volume graph. Firstly is tidal volume. Tidal volume is the volume of normal breathing, which is carried out without any impulses from the brain. Inspiratory reserve volume is the maximum amount of air we can breathe in a single deep breath. Tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume make up the inspiratory capacity. Next is the expiratory reserve volume. This is the maximum amount of air we can exhale. This requires nerve impulses and is a voluntary action. Residual volume is the volume that will always be present in the lungs. This is because the lungs can never be completely out of air or flattened. These two values will make up the functional residual capacity. Next is the vital capacity. This is the maximum range of how much we can inspire and expire. And lastly, we have the total lung capacity. This is the total volume of air that can be contained within our lungs. So what is the purpose of learning about lung volumes? The main purpose is that we can diagnose certain diseases. Some examples are smoking will decrease vital capacity of lungs. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease will increase lung volumes. Emphysema will increase residual volume and total lung capacity.
The idea behind this model comes after our discussion between group members. This 3D model represented respiratory system of human lung where it plays a vital role in overall function. The model consists of 2 different perspectives within same mechanism. The first model involved an overview of lung anatomy, while the second model involved the mechanisms of breathing. In accordance to create this 3D model, recycled items have been used to make this project successful. Due to this purpose, our group able to have a complete vision of idea regards the respiratory system of lung.
This lung model demonstrates how the lung works. Air is taken in through the mouth and nose, passes down the windpipe and into the lungs. Inside the lungs is a network of tubes which allow air to pass through. Air is warmed, moistened, and filtered as it travels through the mouth and nasal passages. It then passes through a network of tubes, eventually reaching tiny sacs called alveoli, which is where gas exchange occurs. That is how lung works.
The breathing mechanisms represented by our 3D model are when the knot balloon is being pulled and creates more space inside the bottle. This is when the air comes inside through the straw and fills the balloon space with air. When the knot being released, the space no longer exists and hence the air from the balloon is expelled, making it deflate. The diaphragm moves up and down to increase the space in the chest like the balloon at the bottom of the model.
In conclusion, we can say that lungs are really essential in humans, especially during the respiration. The lungs itself requires the help from the surrounding organs of the respiratory system, which include the nose, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, and alveoli to do respiration. With this respiration process, we are able to inhale the oxygen and exhale the carbon dioxide in order to keep us alive. So that's all from our group. Thank you.